I will discuss the phenomenon of conversion in this place, in this time. I will present the number of converts, their gender, age, profession, place of birth, literacy, and also some details on the baptism itself, such as popular months and days of the week. And I will say a few words about the godparents. The phenomenon of conversion has raised a lot of, the conversion in Poland has raised a lot of interest throughout the years, yet it is still not comprehensively examined. Among many others, we have papers by Jakub Goldberg, Todd Endelman, Adam Kaźmierczyk, Waldemar Kowalski, Krzysztof Lewalski, Artur Markowski, Adam Penkala, Barbara Stępniewska-Holzner, and Magdalena Teter. And for the period analyzed in my paper, we also have some works by anti-Semites of the late 19th century and the early 20th century. The most known of them is Teodor Jeske-Choiński, who wrote the book called Polish Neophytes. It was published in 1904, and it contains lists of converts from Warsaw and several other towns from 17th, 18th, and 19th century. And Teodor Jeske-Choiński claimed that his book, that his lists are exhaustive because he had studied all the sources available to him. That's what he says. And that's why many scholars also nowadays use the lists given by Jeske-Choiński for their own studies. Jeske-Choiński as an anti-Semite was deliberately inaccurate, and this is not new, everybody knows that. But the scale of the author's omissions has not yet been examined. So for the sake of my research, I have compared the data that I have collected from the parish registers from this time and this place with the same data published by Teodor Jeske-Choiński, and it turned out that he covers only 36% of converts actually included in the books. 36% of the converts from the sources he had claimed to study comprehensively. So it clearly shows that it has to be re-examined and the data should be verified. In Warsaw, between 1826 and 1850, there were parishes in three dominations: the Catholic parishes, the Protestant parishes, and one Orthodox parish. There were 6 Roman Catholic parishes and 1 Greek Catholic parish, and I also included in my research 7 Roman Catholic parishes that were in... it doesn't work, I'm sorry. 7 Roman Catholic parishes from the neighboring villages which are now within the city borders. Protestant parishes, there were 2 of them, 1 Lutheran and 1 Calvinist, and also 1 Orthodox parish. The documents proving the conversions were written in the same books that the records of the children of Christian parents, and they were not distinguished in any way. So in order to find the documents proving the conversions, it was necessary to examine all the records or the documents, yes. And the magnitude of that work is one of the reasons that the scholars used the lists given by Teodor Jeske-Choiński. Between 1826 and 1850 in Warsaw there were over 115,000 baptized people, children mostly, but among them were also 876 converts from Judaism to Christianity, 701 in Roman Catholic parishes, 133 in Protestant parishes, and also 42 in an Orthodox parish. What data could be included in the registers? A day of the baptism, of course, former name and surname, first name and surname of the convert, first name and surname taken on the baptism if they taken a new name, the age, the profession, the place of birth, the literacy, the occupation, and also the personal details on the parents, godparents, and the priest administering the sacrament. Of course, not all the documents were that detailed. Sometimes the scribes recorded only basic information about the christening, about the baptism, and about the convert. But anyway, there was enough data to conduct a verifiable analysis. Among these 876 converts, there were 297 women and 579 men. That's 34% and 66% respectively. The average of their age was 23 and the median 21, but the numbers were different for women and for men. Women average age was 20.5 and the median 20, and for men the numbers were 24 and 22 respectively. And when we look at the table on the right, we will see that 33% of the converts were in the age range between 16 and 20, and again the number was different for men and for women. 42% women were in this age range and only 29% of men. Why is that? Probably because the adulthood began earlier for women than for men. For example, the marriage law constituted the minimal age for marriage at 15 for women and 18 for men, and it was with the permission of the parents, and the permission of the parents had to be given to the women who were less than 21 years old and to the man who was less than 25 years old. Place of birth is known for 88% of converts. Many of them were born in Warsaw or its surroundings, and there were also many who were born in Mazovian voivodeship called later Gubernia, and from Warsaw Gubernia, created later from Mazovian Gubernia and Kalisz Gubernia. There were also many people from the neighboring gubernias, and only few of them came from distant cities, cities of Europe, such as Amsterdam, Berlin, Paris, or St. Petersburg. Occupation is known only for 29% of converts. Most of them were men, and most of them were employed in services, working as craftsmen, for example, tailors, weavers, shoemakers or bookbinders, and servants as well. But there were also some people, some educated people, such as private teachers, scribes, bookkeepers, doctors, dentists, etc. The law required that every person present during recording a document signs it, but unfortunately there is only 126 signatures of the converts, and of course some of the converts were illiterate, but again, according to the law, information about somebody's illiteracy should be written in the document, and this information appears only 57 times. And in the parishes where the biggest number of converts were baptized, the parish of St. Cross and St. John the Baptist, this information about illiteracy doesn't appear even once, and in these two parishes we don't have a single signature of the convert, even though in these parishes there were baptized private teachers, bookkeepers, etc., the people who could definitely write. And it means that at least in some parishes the signing the document was not considered important, and this is not a good source for studying literacy. Month of the baptism. The month with the bigger number of converts is April, and it can be the result of the fact that the most important Christian holiday, Easter, often happens on April, and it may seem as a good reason, good time for bringing new souls to the church. But having that in mind, we might be surprised why weren't there more converts baptized in April? Why weren't there more converts baptized in December when Christmas happens? Why was that many in November and in October? I don't have an answer. If you do, please let me know. It is the same with the day of the week. The day with the biggest number of converts is Sunday, again the most important day of the week for Christians, but also many converts on Thursday and Wednesday, and why, again, I don't know. Thanks to the detailed information that were described, that were recorded in the documents, it was possible to identify the members of the same families, and there were 70 families. They totaled 218 people. Most of them were two-person families, like a husband and wife and a parent with a child, or two siblings. But there were also some even 7-person families, so big families. As I discussed before, converts were usually of low social status, but the godparents, on the contrary, were usually the members of the elite, and the most prominent of them was undoubtedly Ivan Fyodorovich Paskiewicz, who was a godfather of 222 converts. He wasn't always personally present. Sometimes he just sent somebody who acted on his behalf, but he was the godfather of these people. And interestingly, he was a godfather in parishes of all 3 denominations. It didn't matter. In Catholic parishes, we can also see the influence of the monks. The monks were also often godfathers, and in a Protestant parish, we can see an influence of London Society for Promoting Christianity amongst the Jews, who worked in Warsaw since 1821, and as a part of a Calvinist church from 1834. And on the table on the right, we can see that before 1834, there was only 1 convert from Judaism, and after that, there is much more. Unfortunately, the books didn't serve, many of them didn't survive until today, so we don't have all the numbers, but we can see that the number increased significantly when the London Society started to work here. And the conclusion. The scholars analyzing conversions in Poland tried to estimate the number of the converts from Judaism to Christianity. For example, Arthur Eisenbach estimated that there were 100 families, that is 400 to 500 people, baptized in the first half of the 19th century in the whole Kingdom of Poland, while my analysis shows that there were almost 900 of them in the 25-year period in Warsaw only. Also, Todd Enderman said that there were 361 converts baptized in Warsaw thanks to the members of the London Society. We don't have the whole data, but basing on what we have, we can assume that there were more of them. And the research by Teodor Jeske-Choiński is, as I said before, very inaccurate. So this all clearly indicates that the new detailed investigation on the converts in Poland has to be carried out. Thank you very much.